All right, welcome back to the Wild Warner podcast. This episode is going to be all about bears, bear hunting, and my encounters with bears. Stay tuned. All right, for the first story of today, I'm going to be talking about one of the craziest and interesting times I've ever encountered a bear, and it was a black bear in Northern California. So I'll set the scene for you guys. I was younger. I think I was going deer hunting. Must have been the first year or two I was going deer hunting. So I'll set the scene for you. It was me, my dad, and my brother driving to Northern California and out in the middle of nowhere, in between two small little towns, probably kind of everybody knows everybody sort of deal. So what happened was it was pitch black. We decided to get up at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something and try to make the drive out to be there to hunt that morning. So what we decided, we got up at 2 in the morning, driving, pitch black, dark. My dad was driving. I was passed out, but both me and my brother were passed out, and we're driving along kind of a windy road, and all of a sudden my dad just starts slowing down real fast. We're like, I obviously wake up. I'm like, what in the heck's going on? My dad's like, there's a bear in the middle of the road. I think I got hit. I'm like, what? So what had happened was we pulled over, turned around, and we're facing the opposite way of the direction we were traveling. And so we pull up to this one spot off the road, and there's a bear just in the middle of the road with obviously his back legs, or one of his back legs, really, really hurt, broken, definitely. And what had happened was this bear must have had gotten hit, and then whoever hit it didn't know, or it'd be pretty hard to not know you hit a bear, especially this wasn't a small bear. It was probably a 250 pound bear. Definitely a really nice bear too. I think he kicks on his lights and he can see the bears in the road. So he knows what happened, and I think he asked if we had hit it, and we said no, and we just saw it there. And so as we're talking to the sheriff, some guy in some old pickup truck goes the other way. I'm going to go get this guy. And I believe he may have said, he's got bigger guns than I do. So what had happened was this guy obviously knew this kind of redneck looking guy, overalls, whatever. So he goes, grabs this guy, and we're coming, and we can see him coming back, and they asked where the bear went, because in between the time he went to go get that bear, the bear was in like the center lines, and he had moved off the road, kind of just on the side of the road where you could still see it, and then he kind of hobbled off into the dark in a little bit of drop in elevation, a little ditch or whatever, and he just crawled down in there. So yeah, they pull up next to us. They asked where the bear went. We just said right over that little hill right there. And both the officer and this local guy walk up there, and the guy's got some old hunting rifle. They're walking up over towards it, and all of a sudden we can just see the guy put the gun up, and then the officer plug his ears, and bang! Pitch black, middle of the night. This officer let this local guy shoot it. I think he said he had a bear tag, so it was what a crazy experience. He'll go take it home, use the meat, whatnot, and you guys are good to go. So we turned around, kept on heading towards our hunting spot. And this guy must have loaded up his bear in the truck and took it home. But it's kind of crazy how, with the amount of animals that do get hit and legalities of a lot of them, it's crazy how an example like this, that they were able to actually, it was a win-win for everything. Because that bear, he wouldn't have lived long. He had a broken leg. He wouldn't be able to hunt. He could maybe survive off berries and shrubs and whatnot, but that still would be very, very tough. So it was kind of a win-win, because they were able to get the bear, put it out of his misery, put it down, and the hunter gets to fill his bear tag and take some meat home. So when you do hit an animal, I've seen pictures and videos online, when you do hit a bear or any deer or any animal, a lot of that side that got hit, especially if it's a full middle of the grill, a lot of that side of meat's going to be gone, kind of bloodshot almost. But the other half can be perfectly good meat, and this bear probably only got the back leg clipped of whatever. And so probably half to 3/4 of the meat was salvageable, and that's perfectly good meat that shouldn't be put to waste. So it was a great, funny experience. We were able to actually see that whole thing go down, and the irony of, as we're on the phone with the 911 operator, sheriff pulls up. As we're talking to the sheriff, the guy that driving the pickup truck that the officer knows sees him, and kind of a bummer that the bear had to get hit, but with the circumstances, I think that's the best situation that could come out of it, because any of us hunters know that wounding an animal or killing an animal and having it go to waste, whether it be purposeful or not, whether that be, whatever, get hit by a car, or poaching or whatever, no matter what the circumstances is, having meat go to waste just grinds my gears. And most hunters, I think, would agree that, at least good, true sportsmen would agree that wasting meat on an animal that you took its life, either purposefully, hunting-wise, or accidental, like getting hit by a car.
Yeah, I just talked about the black bear we saw on the side of the road get shot. Now I'm going to talk about the time that I actually called in a bear with a turkey call. It was springtime, so we were going to go turkey hunting. Right, so we had all had turkeys on our minds, and I had, one of those box calls. It's a Primos box cutter, single-sided turkey call. Here's a little example. Obviously, I'm not the best turkey. We were heading into camp. We stopped at this one spot to let air out of the tires, and we decided, my dad's letting air out of the tires, and we only have one of the things that you can actually let air out of the tires, and the tire gauge to test how much PSI. So me and my brother walked down to this little creek. It was me, my brother, and then our dog that we had at the time, Loxy. And Danny had Loxy on a leash. And so we just walk up to this creek, and I have my turkey call. I'm like, maybe I can call it a turkey. Maybe I'll get a gobble off of this, whatever. Very, very slim, but we're like, might as well try, So we walk down to this creek, and I just go, and then all of a sudden, we're just kind of sitting in silence for a second, listening for a gobble or something. And all of a sudden, we hear a big old thud. But almost more so like two big boulders, slamming into each other. We look at each other at the same time. Did you throw something? No, did you? And right then, this black bear, California black bear, runs out of the brush on the opposite side of the creek. And he's running parallel with the creek, looking straight at us. So what had happened was that bear was within 30 yards of us, probably bedded down at the creek, getting some cool, because it was hot. Midday, it was hot. And probably chilling in the creek, or getting that cool breeze from the water, from the creek. And heard that turkey call. He's like, there's dinner right there, or lunch, or, there's lunch right there. So I need to go take advantage of it. But he just paralleled the creek at us, and if you know anything about bears, predators, anything of the sorts, when an animal's chasing you, you do not run, because, or even if they're not chasing you and you just see a bear, mountain lion, wolf, whatever, if you run, that instantly just triggers something in their brain to chase and then attack and kill. So it runs parallel with the bank, and right as it goes out of view, it hits this bush, runs out of view. And at that moment, my brother and Loxy, because we were only like 20 yards from the truck, right? It wasn't far, and the bear was probably another 20 yards from us with the creek in the middle. But there is not a chance in hell you could outrun that bear. If he really wanted to eat us for dinner, he would have been on us in like that. So my brother, right as the bear goes out of view, hits a bush, and goes out of view for me at least. My brother takes off towards the truck. I don't know what that bear did. I just saw it go out of view. In my brain, right as that happened, I figured he went around the bush, out of sight from me, and then sharp turn straight at us. So that's why he's running. I turn around, because he turns around. Definitely not the smartest move on either of our parts. But I'm like, I'm not going to be sitting here by myself when a bear's running after us. If I'm running, if we're running, I'm running with him. So we book it back up to the truck, and apparently it went out of sight for us, but my dad could see it still, and he's just seeing us two kids running up the hill. My hat goes flying off. I try to reach back for it and like turn around and grab him, like, wait, no, get to the truck. He just sees us running. My hat flies off. Loxie's just oblivious. She didn't see the bear. She's just happy as can be. So my dad's view, he sees this bear running across the hillside, not the hillside, but the bank of the other side of the creek. And we're just running, bear, bear, bear. And that bear is not chasing us. He's just running perpendicular to us, to the creek. And he's running parallel with the creek, and we're running perpendicular back up to the truck. Funny experience. I may not be able to call in predators with a mouth or hand call, non-electronic call, but I can call in a bear with a turkey call, I guess. But no, that's just a funny example of how you never know what is right next to you, because I would bet money that we would have let air down in the tires, and he was probably just sitting right there in the creek, and it was kind of thick trees, not super thick, but good amount of trees, definitely enough for a bear to hide in. And then it kind of opens up. But I bet you if we would have crossed the creek and he would have slipped through the trees somewhere, we'd have never known he was there. But he would have been 20 yards from us the whole time. Now, the meat and potatoes of this podcast. My bear hunt, I don't remember what year it was, but anyways, I did not draw a deer tag in California, so I decided to pick up an over-the-counter bear tag. And bear tags in California, you cannot hunt with dogs. You cannot hunt bait over bait, which is those two right there, dogs and bait, are where legal, pretty much the two ways people hunt for bears. Most people, they buy bear tags for California residents while they're deer hunting or whatever. Since I'm a non-resident of California, residents, they're like $50 for a bear tag. But non-residents, it's a couple $100. I think maybe $350. So that's expensive, especially when it's like not really a guaranteed thing. But I figured, you know what? I didn't draw a deer tag, so I should go hunt bear. So I got a bear tag, and we go to this one spot that we've seen a lot of bears. It's really, really, really thick brush. Really, really thick brush. I had we're known for seeing predators there, bears mostly, but we've seen bobcats and fox and a lot of other predators that are or signs of tracks and whatnot of other predators. But it's really, really thick brush. Like, you cannot walk in it except for like these two trails. So we basically would just hunt these trails, and this is where my brother ended up shooting his bear a year or two later. So day one of the hunt, it was either opening day or the second day of the deer season. I think it would have been the second day. We get up to this one opening to where we can look on the side of this hill, and not long after, we're sitting there and I see a group of deer come through, and of course there's a legal buck. What looked to be a forked horn or a 3-point, I don't remember. I think I have pictures or video of it. If I do, obviously I'm going to show it right now. I was sitting there just watching these deer like, man, if I had a deer tag right now, I'd be tagged out day one of the hunt. Never has that happened to me before. And we haven't hunted this spot much for deer in the past, but knowing that now, it's like, ooh, maybe it'd be worth checking out again when I've got a deer tag. But that's actually been the only buck I've seen in that area where we've seen these predators. So maybe it's not the best for deer. Maybe it was just luck I saw that buck that first day. It's one of those things where it's like you just got to sit where you can see a lot of country and hope that you get a shot at a bear. Hope a bear walks out to an opening, because it's not really spot and stock, because, well, that may actually change here in a minute, but most of it you can't really spot and stock, because if you see them, they're probably going to be either moving or they're going to be within shooting range, which is like, we just sat this one hillside for the first 3 or 4 days of the hunt. Nothing to see but that one group of does and the buck following him. After that, we decided, you know what? Let's move down the trail a little bit. This opening and then this trail, the one trail in this whole area that you can really hike in and hunt. We decided it leads to another little hillside, little valley. Like, you know, that would be a closer shot. It may be a little funnel for these bears to go through from the higher country down lower to the thicker stuff. And we go down there on the fourth day, I believe, and my dad actually spotted a bear, probably at least 1,000 yards away, at least. I mean, it was long. So what happened was this bear, we spotted this bear. I got a few pictures of him, I think. And he just was sitting, chewing on, eating some bush or tree. I think it was a fig tree. Nah, I don't remember. But there was definitely something he was chewing on, some sort of vegetation. So we figured, you know what? We've got no other option than just to bail down this steep hill with a lot of trees, a lot of brush, kind of cut through around these flats with thick trees, and then try and get back up on the hill parallel with this bear. So I was shooting a 30-06 at the time, and we're like, yep, let's do it. So we get down, bail over. So we were bailing down this whole time, hoping that this bear's just going to stay right where he is, because it was early morning when we saw him, and we figured they don't stay out in the open that much for that long. He's probably feeding all night, and he may be done eating once the sun comes up. So we were going pretty fast. Downhill wasn't bad, but then once we got back up on the hill, we were trying to kind of coordinate where this bear was, and we thought we had a good idea of where it was. Couldn't see him, so we just get up higher, and it's just so thick. And eventually, like, there's a bear across the hillside, still feeding. And so I get set up. I think I was shooting on my shooting sticks, and my dad had the rangefinder, 400 yards, 400 something. And not knowing much about ballistics at the time, I had, my dad said, just aim top of the back, because we figured, you know, it's going to definitely drop. And I still don't know much about ballistics, but I definitely know more now than I did then. I get lined up on this bear. Boom! Bear just looks at us for there's like a few seconds and trots off. Like, I missed him. How did that happen? We get back, and I felt pretty good on the shot. I felt like I had the crosshairs right on the top of the back. When we get back, we were talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, you would have had to aim like 8 feet high, or whatever the distance was, bullet we were using. They're like, yeah, you'd have had to aim like 8 feet high. And so it was definitely a clean miss. It was a beautiful bear. I think it was like a chocolate brown. It may have looked more darker, more black in the picture, but I'm pretty sure it was like a chocolate brown. So that sucks. Didn't get that bear. And at that point, I'm thinking, you know, there's been multiple week hunts we've been on out here where we haven't seen a single bear. If we see one bear, that's pretty dang good odds. So the odds of me seeing another bear, pretty slim. But I know that persistence pays off, and that's been so true in so many of my other hunts, that it's like you just keep hunting, and if we don't see another bear, we don't see another bear, but we'll sure as hell gonna give it all. So we decided to just stay on the end of the trail where we had spotted the bear from the first bear, and just hunt that kind of valley opening up to the hillside across from us. And it is actually, that's where we're hunting, was where my brother shot his bear. So we decided the next few days, I think it was a day or two after that hunt, we went to the same spot, sat in these rocks. I'm sitting looking across the hillside. My dad's up behind me to where we could see the hillside before. That was probably another 400 yards away that that we were sitting at originally. And he's like, Robbie, there's a bear, and you can shoot at it. He's in range. You can shoot at him. I'm like, what? And because I was thinking he would have been on the other side, right where that first bear was, but he was behind us, good 400 yards away, walking across this opening, and I just see this bear. I get up, I put my gun up on this rock, and he was moving pretty good, so I tried to aim higher, and I took like 4 shots, I think, missed every single one. That bear ran into the brush. We went up and hiked around looking for blood, looking for any sign that I hit that bear. And, another confident miss. But the thing was, I would have been 100 yards from that bear if we would have sat the place we sat in the beginning. So it's a kind of like a win-lose or a lose-lose situation either way. It's like if you go to one of the 100 yards, I don't think there's many bears that go through there, but if it is, it's going to be a perfect shot. And the other spot, there's probably more bears running through, but it's harder to get to, or not harder to get to, but you have to do a little bit more hiking. So it's all a game you got to figure out. But hopefully here in the next few years, I'm going to get a bear tag and try and put the hammer down on a black bear. And ever since my brother shot a bear, I've wanted to kill one. Yeah, that has been bears and me. We've had quite a few encounters. Other than that, there's not much other experiences than us just sitting and seeing a bear run across a hillside at like 700 yards when we didn't have a tag. When we did not have a tag. Yeah, I think I'm going to end that right here. But yeah, thank you guys. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, end of this podcast, thank you so much for watching. I've got plenty more ideas, so many more hunting, fishing stories I could share. With cold weather this winter going to be prohibiting my ability to get outdoors and hunt and fish. These podcasts may be the only way I can get content out to you guys, but I really do enjoy these. So if you guys liked it, hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to be doing more. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and comment down below what maybe things you want me to talk about more. Maybe other predator hunting, deer hunting, fishing, whatever, because I've got stories in all of those. So just let me know your feedback of this whole thing. Thank you guys so much for watching the second installment of Wild Warner Podcast. And remember, stay wild.